Welcome to the gooey plants, the gooey fruit zone. I stroll through the courtyards and outdoor halls and make my way to the gardens. There's nobody here from what I can see, and the dying light of the sun casts a yellow hue over the grass. The pond is shimmering gold, and the leaves look like flakes of brass. I take a seat on this tree stump that Lyall sat on, and stare into the water of the pond. My reflection is almost as clear as if I were staring into a mirror. A leaf falls onto the surface of the pond and creates a ripple that distorts my image. Ow! What was that? I feel a searing pain surge through my head for a split second. I bend over, lowering my head closer to the pond, trying to gather my senses. It's then that I have a weird feeling rush over me. My eyes drift onto the path. There's an area that I haven't been to yet. It's enclosed by some walls and towers. It looks like it leads to a very thick patch of brush. The chilly air brushes up against my body. I really should have brought a cloak or something. Standing up, I walk around the edge of the pond and trail my hand along the side of the apricot tree. Leaning in the archway, I think to myself why I'm even going back here. Feels like I'm being forced. I try not to think about it and just blame it on curiosity. It is then that I realize I can hear talking. Muffled and distant, but it's definitely a voice.
I'm judging by the colors, it's Leaf. Pain. Years.
I can't really make out a complete sentence. The hedges twist and turn, and I find myself walking down a path that feels more like a hedge maze. After a minute of walking, the hedges start to fade out, and I can see the rolling hills and mountains off in the distance. What I come upon next is a bit startling.
Oh, never mind.
Raynar is kneeling down in the grass, looking away from my general direction. He's in front of a tombstone with a dragon apricot sitting at its base. That's the wrong it's. Lena, every day I think about you. Things are never going to go back the way they were. Oh my god, I need to leave. I don't think I'm welcome here. I go to walk back down the path, but as I turn, I scuff my shoe on the path. Richter? He says this without turning to look at me. His eyes still linger on the grave, surrounded by the light of the sunset. Yes, Your Majesty? How did you know it was me? He looks down at his knees and then answers, no one else wears shoes. You're the only one here that wears shoes, Richter. Oh, yes, that would probably give it away. I'm sorry that you caught me here in this moment. That's okay. I should probably leave. No. Please, stay. He's speaking in a very sad voice, filled with agony. Do you know what happened? I just know that she died several years ago. Do you want to know? I find a way to respond to this is difficult. Finding a way to respond to this is difficult. My social skills were never exemplary to begin with, but this situation is a bit too extreme. Still, I am curious. I feel like it would clear some things up. If you wish to tell me of your woes, I will listen. I can't even tell if he's breathing or not. The only thing that moves in is his robe, as it blows in the wind. Spoken like a man who chooses his words wisely. I've never opened up to anyone about this. He continues to sit there, silently, barely moving. We were on our way back from visiting Driz 10 years ago. Little Adrius was just 8 years old, looking after the castle for us. That's right, artists, he's legal. Of course, he had help from... Got age math twice this episode.
I totally forgot that detail because I've definitely had it in my mind this whole time that he's like 16 or something.
10 years ago he was 8. So like, he's an adult. Of course, he had help from Sir Raynar. The trip went well. We had many successful discussions with the lords and ladies of Driz. Our time with King Aaron went well too. He was a good friend of mine. Traveling back home was when it happened. Our entourage consisted of several guards and a few dozen soldiers. All of them were trained very well, and the guards were as honorable as they come. But honor only gets you so far in the field of battle. At twilight, we were traversing through the canyon pass when we were attacked. You've heard of the bandit problem, yes? Of course. It was much worse back then. An entire legion of brigands trained to kill. Our carts were sitting ducks. They came sliding down the sides of the canyon. They knew the terrain better than anyone. My soldiers were not farm boys who had never swung a sword, however. They fought them off well. Well enough for us to get a chance to escape and ride ahead. Everything happened so fast, yet I can still remember it so vividly. The way Lena was gripping my wrist with her small but strong hands. The carriage careening down the path, hitting every bump in the road. The driver slumped over the seat after getting an arrow through his chest. He inhales and exhales deeply through his nose and hunches over slightly. By the time the battle was over, with my soldiers had caught up to the cart, it was too late. She died in my arms with a dagger in her stomach. His voice is shaking.
Oh.
They killed her. She was good and she was kind. And it should have been... Tears are streaming down his face. His words are sticking to his throat. He gathers himself and continues. When we had arrived back at the castle, and Adrius found out. He locked himself in his room for weeks. I would sit on the ground outside of his bedroom door and try to talk with him. The amount of grief her murder caused me was unbearable, but I can't imagine how he felt. I see him take his cloak and wrap it around himself more tightly. And now, those outlaws have made a resurgence, and I'm powerless. He finishes his story and sits there, staring at the sunset. This is a lot to take in. I don't really know how to respond. I don't get a chance, however. He stands up and slowly clears his throat, and walks back down the... And he clears his throat and walks back down the path. If I narrate for too long, I start yawning because I like just don't breathe correctly. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you're a trooper for this scene.
I feel like he should clear his throat and slowly walk down the path because I don't know how one slowly clears their throat. Very ineffectively, I guess. I follow behind him, not wanting to be left there with all that information. Richter? Yes, Raynar? I need you to be there for him. Once he becomes king. I need you to guide my son down the right path. This is quite the commitment.
I was gonna say, it's like, I'm just visiting.
Am I ever going home again? A king without his advisors is like a brain with no conscience. He rubs his hands together. Can I trust you? Can I be trusted? Can I be there for him? At first the thought irks me, but then I remember what Kadaj told me about stability earlier. This might be my chance. I'm starting to almost think that this game might make more sense if Richter just was from here, and he was on his way back from the other country, from a diplomatic mission.
So that is this episode is addressing one of our questions from the last session, which is like, what are we doing here, Richter? What are your plans? And like the thing that Kadaj seems to have just that we got during that conversation is like, oh no, we are here forever. Like we were traded, our lives were traded to come here and be from Aaron.
I feel like that wasn't communicated until now, essentially. Like
it wasn't.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact exposition from the first like 30 seconds of the story or whatever, so maybe something was there that I forgot, but it definitely felt like we were just here to like help deliver documents and some other stuff and like do a trade mission
and then just go home.
Yeah,
but it was also like at the same time we all had that weird moment of like, wait, he's just borrowing us? We're planning a ball now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like none of us were ready for that, I don't think. And like narratively you figure, oh, these guys are like the carrier pigeons of the setting. Like they don't have phones and they probably don't have magic portals or anything for talking or anything. So like they probably need to keep sending people back and forth actively to have any connection with other countries. So you especially don't expect him to stay here because you think he needs to go back and talk to his king and so on and maybe go back and forth. But it almost feels like it's meant to explain why he's an outsider, so you can explain the setting to him, because that's a go-to thing for explaining fantasy and sci-fi settings.
Exactly.
And it also feels like you need that for him to be attacked on the road, but it's getting to the point where it feels like it'd be more elegant for the story just to have him be from Lyre, and that'd explain why the king already likes him so much. Like maybe he just already had a relationship with him pre-existing, and he just got attacked on the road back, as opposed to being on the road here from scratch. And a lot of the stuff makes more sense on that level, because it seems like we're just gonna like live here forever, and now the king wants us to pledge to take care of his son, and it's like, even I'm still not ready for the idea that that's our level of commitment. Is that what's going on? And then Kadaj, where do your allegiances lie? And it's like, I don't know, man. I've been here for 2 weeks, and I'm I'm from a different country, and so everything like reads slightly weird because it's hard to register that we're a permanent resident here.
There is something that is really a like kind of consistent issue that I have with this VN the whole way through, and it's a conversation that I think is like missing from this, that's like in Adastra. And I'm sorry to keep going to Adastra. I will keep going back to Adastra though, because wow, this story is really similar. And it's just that like in the trip over in Adastra, I was always struck in that first build by how it's like, wow, Amicus like kind of sits us down and he's like, so we've got the parents and we've got these cultures and the kingdom is in disarray because of this thing. And I need you to help me do this. And it's like, all right, like I have like such a clear idea of like what direction the story needs to go in and what all of our goals are here, why Marco cares, why Amicus cares, and like we can kind of have everybody be introduced with that already in mind.
Yeah.
But Kadaj just kind of had that like just now, and it still was really vague, and I'm just kind of like, wait, hold on, I thought we were having pastries and going for nice walks to the town. Like
yeah, like because the stakes and tension haven't been introduced, Kadaj's conversation just ends up coming across as weird. And it reminds me of what it reminded me of was I was thinking of Ruby season 3, which is in season 3 of Ruby, the tournament arc happens and shit goes to hell and stakes escalate and a billion things happen and some characters die, and it sets the stage for them to go into like Avatar remote and start like journeying and stuff after 3 seasons of being at the school. But specifically, there's a part where they're like, the fragile alliance between our kingdoms is shattering, and you're like, there's kingdoms? They have alliances? They were fragile?
There's politics?
Yeah, there's politics in the Ruby setting. You're like, what? Where it's like, you can't just hit me with this 3 seasons in as if this is a political drama. So like in Ruby, it's one of the worst examples of that ever, maybe, of like, wait, I thought we were just hanging out, hunting monsters and training to be monster hunters in a setting that has no other world building besides the logic of what makes somebody a monster hunter. So hitting them suddenly talking about the alliance between the kingdoms shattering. We don't even know what the kingdoms are. Is like, huh? And obviously we're still at the beginning of the story here, but it's just the specifics of like, Kadaj's conversation feels like it should come when you have some level of background tension existing already to contextualize it. Because when he just shows up and is like, I think things are going to take a turn for the worse at the ball, you're like, what things? What are the wait, what's happening? Hang on.
Yeah.
Because you're very startled by him, because you're like, it doesn't build from the current like stakes, because you don't know that there are currently those kinds of problems to begin with, unless you're just like, from a genre savvy perspective, just filling in the gaps on behalf of the game. But that's not.
That is a big part of this, is where it's just like, well, it's a fantasy setting, and this kingdom sure seems like it's going really well. That's not going to last. Like,
yeah, like. Because you can expect, given modern context, you can anticipate your audience expecting it to be Game of Thrones, but if you don't like put the groundwork in there, it still will like be startling when Ned gets arrested. You're like,
isn't like I think about the opening scene of Game of Thrones. Isn't that them seeing the little dead girl with like blue eyes, and it's like, the White Walkers, like this threat. This is the first like piece of context that you get for the entire world.
The first scene of Game of Thrones is the White Walkers. It might be like a circle of dead horses or something, or there might be a different scene later or something. I think the first scene of several seasons is White Walkers. Got it. I think they kept doing that because they had to remind you that this threat was coming one day. It's a metaphor for climate change. Wow, there's an inevitable and obvious problem that's observable, but everyone in power is ignoring it so that they can continue to seize power and wealth. That's like the most compelling thing about Game of Thrones on some level. Yeah. Anyway, this might be my chance. I can try. That's all I can ask. I want him to be a better king than I was. I need him to be a better king. I truly did let him down. Your Highness, don't say that. It's true. One day, I will explain why. You won't, will you?
I was gonna say he's gonna die, and we're not gonna know why.
Yeah, like it's hard to place exactly why, but there's like a heavy-handedness of like basically just telling us something bad's gonna happen, and also him giving his like last day before retirement speech, and I'm like,
yeah, you ever say one day I'll tell you? Say, well, that's the fucking.
Is this
lie.
Gonna be a red ball? Like, excuse me.
We just need to like put a hand on our shoulder and say like, all the places that the light touches, but not that place. Like, that's kind of this conversation.
One day, I will explain why. He looks around and blinks his eyes a few times. I apologize for robbing you of a perfectly fine evening. It's quite all right. It was my fault for wandering back there. I find myself choosing my words wisely, like walking on eggshells. Yes, I suppose so. However, it was a simple mistake, and I don't fault you for it. I find you're terribly east to confide in. Only God knows the reason why. He swiftly nods his head while oops, did I hit the bumper? He swiftly nods his head while wiping his eyes with his hands. I'll be going now. Please take care. Raynar? Yes, Richter? It's not your fault. He closes his eyes in contemplation, then responds. I wish it weren't. Aww. And with that, he leaves. I stand in the garden for a while longer, watching the sun dissipate behind the mountains. The cold starts to get to me, so I head inside. Yeah, I'm definitely a little thrown by not only him entrusting a son to us, but also being like, I've never opened up about this to anyone before. I'm like, I've known you for 2 weeks, and I don't think we've seen each other most of those days.
Yeah, everybody is very taken by by Richter.
Are humans just like the cute species of this setting? Do we have this effect
God,
on
I hope
people?
not.
Like, I just feel like I can trust you for some reason. Your lack of your sad, pathetic lack of fur, your stupid pink skin, your giant, vulnerable eyes.
Your shoes, which I hope you don't have to repair anytime soon, because God knows you're not gonna find any of those around here.
Sure, someone can cobble it together. He's doomed. Lyall's gonna have to carry him around piggyback. I'm sitting at my desk for the past hour thinking about the events of this afternoon. And to think this day started off so well. Now my mind can't stop racing. Actually, it feels completely blank. Like, there's so much to think about, so my mind tries to think about all of it at once and just shuts down. I really have been given a great task. And it will most likely force me to give up the thing I want most. Is that Lyall? Suddenly the door swings open, almost blowing out the candle on my desk. Lyall is slumped in the doorway, and he has a dazed look in his eyes.
Hey, Richter.
He drunk?
Is he drunk?
Oh, he's drunk.
He's drunk.
I'm really...
Oh,
yeah.
he's drunk.
We're picking up exactly on certain cues as they come up. How did you know it was me? Because you're not wearing shoes. Oh, he's drunk. Extremely drunk. Where have you been?
Well, I was doing some business in my quarters.
Huh? Excuse me?
Uh-huh. You want to share?
And then I went to the mess hall for some supper.
And business.
And my fellow guardsmen were playing drinking games. And I...
Gonna throw up.
Lost. He flops into the chair I was just sitting in.
I won.
His clothes are all tousled and his fur is a mess. I find myself speaking to him like one would a child. That's great, Lyall. How much did you drink exactly? He takes a moment to think about his answer.
A lot.
How many mugs is too much?
About 4?
I probably drank 9.
Christ.
I think you guys have different mug math anyway. Mm-hmm. That's really not good for you. I've lost my patience with everyone at this point, so all I can do is just rub my hands together awkwardly. The dresser, with the rag and clean water, catches my attention, so I move over there to get a damp rag for him.
You're really handsome, you know that?
God.
See, it's just... It's irresistible humans. They have such an allure in furry land. It's like if there was exactly one werewolf in the kingdom in real life. You're like, I mean, look at him.
How different he is.
Pretty hair.
What? This is made funnier by the fact that we don't know what we look like still.
Yeah.
I've never seen Richter before. Thanks. My face is more red than it ever was before right now.
I wish I had long hair like yours.
Yours looks longer.
Yours is longer.
I wring out the rag into the bowl and bring it over to Lyall. His head is now lolling to the side slightly, and he can barely keep his eyes open.
Humans are so pretty. And difficult. Oh, so very difficult. What the hell do you mean by that?
Drown this man.
Lyall? He passed out. I drop the rag back on the dresser and grab a blanket. Can't really be mad at him. He's such a great guy who called me difficult. What do you mean by the last part, though? Difficult. Am I difficult?
Oh, we're gonna get a complex off of this.
What do you mean by that? I'm gonna think about this for the next 3 years. Wow, it's literally me. Lazily, I toss the blanket onto him and blow out the candles. I kick my shoes off my feet and fall into bed. I feel completely exhausted. I have some more night terrors.
Not with the wolf man in the room. They're going to be too scared.
Now the wolf's going to be here to shake us awake when we're freaking out, and we'll confide and hug. Day 19. That's a dagger.
Yeah, that's a
like
dagger.
It's a fucked up dagger too.
Yeah, that'd be a bad one. Get to safety. Coming down that side too. Doesn't matter. Just get out of here. Was Lord Bryn them? No, you idiot. His cart. Back there.
I don't feel like myself. Everything hurts. I'm struggling to breathe for some reason. Did the wind get knocked out of me? I try to lift my arms, but they don't move. I can't move. Have I been paralyzed? No. I may not be able to move, but I can feel pain and tiredness. Debris and dust clutters my sinuses. I try to open my eyes, but as expected, that doesn't work either. I feel like an absolute mess. I don't remember how I could have gotten into the situation. Am I reliving the avalanche? No, I don't think I am. It's too hot. Is Lyall laying on top of him? Something isn't right. My entire body feels like it isn't my own. You just like wake up and you think you have a sleep paralysis demon and you can't move, and it's just like a Barrow wolf has just fallen asleep on you. I have this urge to yell, but nothing comes out. Then there's my legs. They feel like they're being crushed. It feels like my feet aren't even there. There's a hopeful feeling, however, as I feel more awake by the minute. Am I asleep? Yeah, this is just a dream. Or the wolf made my legs fall asleep. Nothing to worry about. I'm actually kind of glad. Usually I've never been able to realize when I'm in a dream. Something like that was very rare for me. I don't know how to wake up though. That's a weird one for me. The moment I find out I'm in a dream, it's over. Just boom. Damn it. Then you're like, fuck it, now I have to go back to sleep. And it's also like if I like the dream, it's very annoying, but it's like if I notice a plot hole in my dream, I'll wake up.
You're like, that is so Keith. I love how Keith that is.
No, I'll just notice something doesn't make sense, and then I'm like, fuck. And it's supposed to be the moment where people have lucid dreaming or something, is when they know that it's fake. Like the fucking, it's like Waking Life, the trick in that movie that they probably made up and doesn't work, but it's you check if light switches work or not, and if they don't work, you're in a dream, which sounds kind of dumb because I feel like you could dream about light switches working. But people talk about methods of telling that they're dreaming so they can lucid dream, and I'm like, the moment I realize I'm dreaming, I wake up instantly. I don't know how to wake up though. The ringing in my ears slowly subsides. I can hear the rustling of leather in front of me, and there's also the sound of struggling. I think in front is two words. Without even trying, my arms struggle to push myself up. There's something on top of me. I can't get out from underneath it. My eyes are tightly squinted. I'm not doing this. It's like I don't even have control. Am I even me?
Ooh.
Oh, we're seeing her die.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. My eyes open and everything is blurred. It's like I just woke up. I'm laying on hard, rocky ground, and there's splintered wood all over the place. After a minute of gaining my senses, I look up and see two figures. I start to violently move around underneath the rubble and reach a hand out. This isn't my hand. It hurts a lot, and one of the fingers might be broken. Through the rips in the glove, I can see brown fur sticking out. What the hell's going on? My mouth moves, but my own voice doesn't come out. Stop! Please! Raynar? I'm Raynar? No. I'm just dreaming that I'm Raynar. Then this is... Oh no. Oh, evil lizard people with glowing red eyes.
Comically evil.
Oh no. After being infatuated with my circumstances, I finally realize where I am. Queen Elena is unconscious and being held hostage by a figure in a ragged cloak. He looks like a lizard, but I can't see his face. Just his vibrant red eyes. He's got a jagged dagger raised and aimed to strike. The silks on her clothes are scuffed up and torn, and her face is scratched and bruised. She's covered in dust and chips of debris.
Wait, what? Why would I do that?
If you let her go and cease this attack, Kingdom of Lyre will take no action. Raynar's hand is trembling, and I can feel all of his movements. His body is shaking, and his chest is heaving. I can feel his tail pressed flat against his rear. The debris and wood from the carriage is laying on one of his antlers, and I can't move. The debris and wood from the carriage is laying on one of his antlers, so he can't move his head very well. I got distracted reading that out loud because I was simultaneously thinking, like, can deer do the lowered tail thing? They're very short tails. And I could not handle those two thoughts at once. This is very strange. No. This is terrifying. It's like I'm seeing through his eyes. It feels so real.
I find that hard to believe.
I swear it. A dreadfully long silence falls in the area. It's broken by the sound of him raising the knife higher into the air.
I didn't come here to make deals.
I know it's coming, and I wish I could close my eyes. No! It happens in an instant, but it feels like an eternity. I collapse underneath the rubble and fall apart. I hear his anguish as he lets out guttural screams of pain. I can feel the warm feeling of tears streaming down his face. Let's feel twice. Stop it! Please! Let me help her! Raynar gathers his strength and begins to lift with all of his might. The carriage budges a bit, but it's not enough for him to get out from underneath it.
You'll be with her soon enough.
No! I can hear the bandit stepping closer. His footsteps stop.
Damn.
He runs away as I hear shouting on the right. It sounds like a large group of men running towards the cart. Several bandits are being chased and run by the carriage. Raynar's eyes are too teary to see. After a few seconds, he lifts his head and opens them. For just a second there, I thought he was wearing like a modern combat fatigues. Like the body armor.
That.
For just a second, I'm like, is he an Iraq soldier? What's going on here? Lyall? So it's Lyall's dad? What was his name again?
I think that's just Lyall.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Lyall.
Because this was 10 years ago.
When
He
he
would
was
like be
13?
10? Yeah, I was like,
That's right.
I was gonna say, isn't he like would he be like a tiny baby? Not like literally, but I mean like he'd be too young, right?
Oh, that's how he got his scar.
Lyall? Oh, there is a scar, you're right. He's just a punk ass kid just running in here. Damn, alright. Good job.
He's a trainee, and this is why he
Yeah.
made him the royal guard.
Yeah, this is why he got promoted so young. Lyall? He was here? It's him, but he's younger. He looks to be 14, maybe younger? His fur is spotted on the face, almost like freckles, and his head fur is short and ruffled. He's wearing studded leather armor with a sun crest in the center. His entire left side and sword is shimmering with crimson blood. Lyall may be young, but he looks beaten and worn out.
Boy, stay here.
I can see his paw clenching around the handle of his sword.
But we're so close. No, Reed, we can handle this. Help the Queen and King. After that, return to Lord Bryn. That's an order.
Raynar turns to the soldier speaking to Lyall. Go after him, now! He looks absolutely infuriated. He sounds infuriated. I can distinctly hear the sadness turn to rage. A couple soldiers run to Alana's side and begin tending to her. Some other soldiers start to lift the broken carriage. Lyall looks down to Elena, then turns to me.
Did this.
Oh my god. The right side of Lyall's face has been ripped vertically by a thick red gash. No. Is this how he got it? Blood rushes down the side of his face, and his eyes close shut. Raynar grunts as I feel the debris be lifted off of him. The bastard with the green scales and the dagger. Alana's stomach is soaked in blood that pools onto the ground. I feel a massive weight lifted off of Raynar's legs as the wreck is raised higher. Help her, please. Lyall looks down at Alana again, with a troubled look on his face.
Here, get up. Get up.
Once.
Wake up. Richter, wake up.
Lyall is standing over my bed, shaking me by the shoulders. Ah! He has a worried look on his face. Seeing his groomed fur and adult features is a stark contrast to what I'd just seen.
You were having a nightmare. It looked really bad.
No, I wasn't. My entire back is coated in sweat and my face feels hot. My clothes are practically sticking to my body. That was no nightmare. That was... Lyall puts a palm to his head after my shouting fit. He's probably hungover from last night. My entire body is shaking as I look down at my hands. They're exactly how they usually are.
You don't look so good. Did you catch a cold? Maybe going into town was a bad idea.
I'll go and get Leaf.
No, I need to see Raynar.
Why would you need to see him?
I've been having very strange dreams. I need to talk to him, Lyall.
Okay, but you can do that later. Right now, you need to rest.
Lyall, I don't have a cold. I'm fine. I need to see him. I slide out of bed and plant my feet on the ground. It's cold, so I grab the shoes that I kicked off my feet last night. They're sitting in the corner of the room, one on top of the other. I adjust my coat and walk to the door. My hair is a mess, but I decide that I won't be needing to pull it back. I stand in the doorway and look back to Lyall. He has a conflicted look of worry on his face. I go through the doorway and begin to sprint down the hallway. Alright, so that's probably where we're going to stop for today. We'll see how this turns out next time for sure. This is going down. This is an intense amount of CGs too. It's like the power of when one person just runs everything. I think a lot of visual novels struggle to get CGs because they need the funds to pay an outside artist to come in and do it all, and it's like, nope, you're gonna deal with what we got on hand for now. We get one CG per update, buddy. But when the writer is the artist, they just fucking go crazy. It's great to see.
Compliment the music there, kind of getting this like 28 Days Later sting to it, where it's like, oh, this is the bad music when you have this kind of chord progression.
Yep. Man, music is wild. Because I've been working with a musician lately, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I don't know how to talk about any of this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try.
Musician, like, I can see how people can like learn how to draw. I can't, like, my brain cannot fathom learning how to create music in my head. I'm like, that those patterns, I'd be worried I'd be recreating something that's already there, and I'm just like, how do you? I can't process it.
just an entire, because it's such an abstract education, but they just do it. It's like
Thank
yeah,
God for them.
like Red Means Recording like made like the rough draft of the soundtrack for my game in one day, and I'm like, huh? What do you mean? How? I don't understand.
Yep.
All right, see y'all next time.
Bye.